So what I want to do now in this next part of the tutorial is actually put the blocks of code so when the user clicks the right answer, it'll add 1 to the score. So to do that, I'm going to click on the blocks, and in here I'm going to have, first of all, a variable. So I need to set a variable, and I'm going to just call the variable score 1, and I'm going to set that to 0. And nextly, I'm going to have my event. So the event is when the user clicks this here, it's going to add 1 to this variable and then put it into the LBL score. So the click answer 2 is changed. What I want to do is set the variable score 1, and I want to set that variable to a plus. So I'm going to use 2 pluses here, and the first one is to get the variable, which is going to be 0, and it's going to be plus 1. So when I click, it's going to add 1 to the global variable, and I'm going to put that value into the label. So if I click on the label, go to set the text to the label, I can go to, because I want to have score in the label, I'm going to use a join text, and in here I'm going to put score colon and a space, and that's going to be the text part, and underneath I'm just going to have the value for the variable. So if I go back now to my emulator, you'll see now that if I click, it's changed, so it's now adding 1. The big problem is I just keep changing it, it'll just keep adding 1 to the variable. So what we're going to do next is actually disable out the other answer, or disable out all the answers so that the user can't do anything else, and we're going to have a button up here that's going to say next and take you to question 2, and also we're going to have the tinydb, which is the database function within Inventor, and it's going to actually score this global variable in a tagged field that can be called from in question 2, so we can actually carry the score across to the next screen. So before I actually put in the actual blocks of code, I'm going to go back to the designer, and I'm going to put layout horizontal underneath the score, parent center, and in there I'm going to put the next question. So it's going to be btn next, and next question, or you can even say question 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make that visible, and that'll only appear when the user has answered question. If we go back, actually look at the emulator. So I'm looking at the emulator, and I'm actually seeing that my button is a wee bit below the screen. Can't make the screen scrollable, but we want to just try and fit it into the white space, so I might actually take away that white space horizontal arrangement and take it down, see how it loads up. And again, I might resize my banner at the top just to bring it up a bit. You see how that looks. So question 2, the question appears. So what I want to do is I want to actually make the button Next, I want to make it not visible, and it'll only appear after they've answered the question. Right, so it's not here on the screen. I'm going to go back to my blocks, and so the first thing I want to do is I want to disable these buttons. I want to set their enable to false once you've actually changed. So you've answered the question, and I'm going to click the check answer 1 enabled. So I want to set that to go to logic false, and again then I'm going to I'm going to set the enabled, join it in. I'm going to set that to false, again 3, duplicate this, false, 2 below 3, so I'll put 2 there, and the last one then is false. So they've answered the question, can't answer anything else, they pick their answer, and you've set the enable to false. And the last thing I want to do is I want to set the button next visible to true. Bring up my emulator, and when I click London, it doesn't allow me to add anything more. What I need now is I need to store the variable in the TinyDB and then go to question 2.